just another Saturday. Just another Saturday.
So, if supersessionism theology is correct, if that is the case, should we say that what happened in like 1948 and 1967 was wrong? I've been listening to more arguments on that side, and I think since my biblical interpretation would be that more with supersessionism, although I don't deny that I hope God's going to do something for Israel. And by the way, I still think Israel should have the land in Israel, because we don't like kick people out of a country. I mean, it's like all countries were established in this sort of way with like that sort of thing. But I have sympathy for people who are kicked out or whatever, obviously. But you can't make one country do that who took over by force. I mean, it's not like we don't hold people accountable in that way. So Israel is it's their land. But I say that just based on that's how it goes. Sorry. So like I don't even really think they have a biblical, to be honest, I don't think they have a biblical case to the land. But I would still support Israel because of their democracy and the way that it works, and because I think of the way their people surrounding them put in their charters and stuff what they want. I think it's evil. Not to say that there isn't evil and good on both sides. But okay, that being said, so I would still lean towards Israel's side or whatever for various other reasons that have nothing to do with my theology and just the way it goes. Okay, so here's my challenge for I think Israeli girls are really usually quite cute, so, and they seem pretty decent, so people over there. So let's say this is what it seems to me. If you deny that Paul was, in any sense, or if you deny that Paul was applying this idea of a remnant of Israel, not all of Israel are true Israel or whatever, or are not Israel. If you deny that has any application in the first century, I think you're basically down the road a ways in like to deny Jesus brought salvation to the Jew first and then to the Greek. In other words, if you try to claim that's the sort of thing that makes crazy, really far end dispensationalism exist. They will say like Jesus didn't bring the new covenant because that's for the Jews, and he's going to do that Jew thing in the future. But like the reality of the Bible is that salvation that comes to the world came through the fulfillment of prophecy to Israel, and the New Testament is just written to prove that. So, and people do all sorts of weird stuff with these texts, like, well, we don't have to follow Jesus' teachings because he only came to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, or things like that. And people have no idea what that actually means, and then they run with that because it'll support that wrong idea. The fact of the matter is, the reason we know Jesus is the Messiah and that you can prove it from the Bible is because he fulfilled the prophecies in the Hebrew Bible and the promises to Israel and Abraham. And he did it exactly on time according to prophecy that we know was written beforehand. And the way all these concepts, all you people out there, all you evangelicals with these different ideas, simping for these bad ideas, have obscured that. And it's damage. It's just like a big damaging thing. Like if you think the church, it was always just the same church. We're always saved by grace through faith. If you are dispensationalist, or if you think the law is done away with, you cannot believe that. You don't believe that. David Preston is absolutely right that you shouldn't believe that. That makes no sense. Because Jesus did away with the thing that they had to do for sacrifices. And so if he does away with that and replaces it, they used to have to do something that now they don't, but they get it through belief. Don't tell me it's the church, the Old Testament church, if you're a Baptist and you're a post-trib pre-wrath, and then turn around and say, oh yeah, the 70th week is for Israel still. Yeah, God's going to rebuild the temple. And wait, I thought you said it was the same church all the way through. Why would he have to do anything with the temple? Your view makes no sense. It's incoherent, and you should read the historical writers of the Reformation and the derivatives or the like writers and see what the history of the church has to say. You are a mishmash of nonsense concepts that do not work together. Sorry. Okay, so here's the question I really wanted to ask after I give all my criticism. Seems to me that's how Jesus is shown to be the Messiah. He brought the new covenant to Israel, and that goes to the nations per the Great Commission. That's what Jesus did. Everything I taught you, take to the nations. Right there, boom, a million things dispelled. And then all you have to do is understand the context of Galatians, Romans, the entire New Testament. That Jesus is the fulfillment of the first covenant typology, which was foretold. He would bring a light to the Gentiles, but he would confirm the covenant with his people, his holy city, with the many. And the many are the remnant of Israel, the true Israel, who feared God and recognized Jesus because he actually was a reflection of the true God. And those people who recognized that were the people of God because they, not by decree or this or that, just they had the love of the Father, which Jesus reflected. So if you didn't know who the Father really was, you were just a fraud, you wouldn't recognize Jesus. So that is the true Israel. In other words, who established the quote unquote church, the new covenant church? Well, obviously it has to be first covenant, true Israel. And in fact, it was. That's what all the disciples were in the New Testament. Because he would establish that with his old covenant people. And that establishment wiped out the old covenant and merged into the new covenant, starting with at the house of God. So the new covenant church is absolutely founded on nothing but Jews or first covenant people, sons of Abraham. So if the true Israel, the remnant of Israel, establishes the church in Jerusalem with all Jews, because they're the true believers out of Israel, not all Israel is of Israel, that means the new covenant church has already been fulfilled to Israel, and then Gentiles came into that. So how can you say the true Israel for the end times is people who don't believe in Jesus that aren't part of that lineage of that established church? And I agree. Most of the churches out there have lost their Jewish roots in the right way. Not that it's exactly the same. We don't do sacrifices and we don't have a temple. But that's not the point. The point is the church itself is, first and foremost, the Jewish new covenant believers coming over from the first covenant. And they're all Jews. They're the remnant of Israel. So how can you say the church isn't the remnant of Israel? It's already been established on earth. So you're saying the true remnant of Israel is going to start the church at the end times? That's like you're basically saying with the extreme dispensationalists say that Jesus hasn't even brought the new covenant. So that's problematic. The church is true Israel because literal remnants of Israel in the first century, that is first covenant people who believed on Messiah because it was to them first, then the Greek. It had to happen that way. And then also they kept the Sabbath, and so should you, because it's a Jewish church. But not when I say Jewish church, I don't mean we have to do the feast and we have to do everything in the Old Testament and kill people for adultery, because we're not under a theocracy and we have grace and forgiveness. But the original church kept the Sabbath because it's forever. And the church is Jewish. It's their church, and we got grafted in, and now it's gone eclectic, because that's what God promised it would be, because he was calling back all the nations through the Messiah, and that was his plan all along. And if you don't have your focus on that, stop teaching about the Bible, please.